Alright, this is going to be my second set of videos showing my mouse breeding system. So if anybody is interested, they can kind of get a little bit of an idea of what all goes into it, what it takes to do it, and maybe how successful you're going to be at it. So from top to bottom, this is a 10 tub rack, but I only have 7 of them going because that fulfills all my needs for the amount of snakes that I have. I breed Western hognoses and Kenyan sand boas. So the mice that I feed them don't actually have to be too large. I don't have to go up to the large mice. So I'm pretty good at just producing pinky to hopper sized mice and going from there. So on top, you can see since I got a pretty short basement, I normally have a 5-gallon bucket when I'm out in my garage, but when I come in for the winter, I just kind of converted a little Rubbermaid tub into the water reservoir. Just drill a hole and there's a couple of just metal fittings, so that way you can eventually adapt to whatever size rubber tubing or plastic tubing you have. That's going to come down and drop into these brass drip tips that I purchased on eBay used, and then I just cleaned them up and put them back in. They're brass. They have rubber gaskets inside, so they really don't go bad even if they are used. They just need a little bit of cleaning. They come apart with pliers, scrub them with hot water, vinegar, and you're ready to go. And what that allows you to have is basically water on demand for all the mice. Goes down to each bin, so that way as long as there's water in the reservoir, I can see that I got to fill up. As long as there's water in the reservoir, you can have all the mice water at the same time. This bin here usually lasts me a little over a week, sometimes 2 weeks. I prefer to use store water, so I have a 5-gallon jug that I go and fill up. That way the water doesn't go stagnant. With city water, you got chlorine, all this other stuff. It's not supposed to go bad, but it does. So in each bin, and I just got done cleaning, so these guys are scrapping a little bit. In each bin, I typically keep anywhere from 1 male to 5 females, and sometimes I'll have like 1 to 6. I don't like to have multiple males in the bins because then they get pretty competitive and they start attacking each other, and the dominant male is going to eventually nip and mutilate the weaker male. So I like to just have 1. It also helps with musk, the smell of these guys. So if you have multiple males and they're trying to be competitive with each other, they're going to produce a lot more of a musk and they're going to stink a little bit more. So as you can see, these guys right now are getting along pretty good. In each one, I keep, when I clean them, I throw any kind of cardboard or paper products that has kind of accumulated from my week. I clean them out once a week. So you can throw just ripped up box in there, toilet paper tubes. We got some Zatarans in this one. It's just something for them to crawl under, crawl in, chew up, turn into nests. This one I got the top of a cardboard or I guess recycled egg carton. And yeah, like I said, I keep 1 male and 5 to 6 females in each one. That's enough for the male to get done in a week. And then every week when I come through, I basically clean out all the bedding, replace it, and if I notice any pregnant females, I bring them to my bottom 2 bins, which I've named the nursery bins, and I'll put anywhere from 2 to 6 pregnant females together. That way they like to take care of each other's babies and makes it a little bit easier. If you ever wondered what a pregnant female mouse looks like, is you just kind of look at, obviously, their bellies. They get pretty big compared to, oops, this one's gonna try to run. Compared to a normal mouse, their bellies get very, very big. So these girls are probably going to pop anywhere from a day or 2 from now, and they give birth to 7 to 15 mice. Since I breed Kenyans and sand boas, or I mean hognoses and sand boas, they don't really require lots of large food. This is my, I guess you could call it a harvest from this week. It's 43 pinkies that range from small pinkies. You got these guys that are pretty small pinkies to the ones that are closer to a week old instead of just a few days old, and they're pretty plump pinkies as well, about to turn into fuzzies. I found that the mice that I breed are a lot larger than the mice that I used to buy from pet stores. So my large pinkies are about the size of hopper fuzzies that you get from a pet store. This whole setup, if you're a little savvy with tools and woodworking, is very simple. Simple 2x2 construction, and basically all you do is just mount lips so that these guys can slide in and out, and then they're topped with chicken wire for a certain gauge, so that way they're still able to chew through and get to their food that you just put on top, and then it's basically like an auto feeder. They eat when they want. The rubber tubing and some type of water reservoir, the whole setup start to finish is under $100. This tub was probably about 5 or 6. More than enough tubing that you'll have and you can replace every couple months is $10–15. The wood, maybe $20 to $30. The most expensive part was the brass pieces for the watering, and those guys are anywhere, I think they're like about $2, maybe $4 a piece. So you're looking at 20–30 bucks. If you buy them in bulk, you get them a little bit cheaper. So I produce anywhere from, I'd say, 40 to 60 pinkies a week. I do fancy mice only because I'm breeding my own, so these guys get a little bit bigger, they produce a little bit more. They're interesting to breed, to be completely honest, because unlike reptiles, you have a really fast turnaround. So I started with albinos, and then I introduced 1 or 2 fancy mice males, and within just a few months I was already cycling back the new offspring as the new breeders, and now I have all fancy mice, and now I have long hairs, I have silkies, I have jumbo ear, all kinds of stuff in here, and it's really interesting to see what they throw. The females, I don't like to breed them a lot. Once they've had their babies and I've kind of collected them for the week, I usually give them a week off, and that's why I usually have a bin up here, is so I can set some to the side so that it's more like a resting bin for them, and then throughout the week, if I need to do anything in here, I can take them out of one bin, put them in the holding bin, and do whatever I have to. The females, as long as you're not overbreeding them, they last a year to 2. The males last a little bit longer because they have a pretty luxurious life of just eating and breeding. As far as food, I go to my local like feed store, and I get the high-fat rodent pellets, or lab pellets I think they sometimes call them, and for a 50-pound bag it's, I believe, about $20. For the 50-pound bag of ground shavings from a feed store, I believe, was $6. So for less than $25 a month, I can keep all these mice and I can produce a few hundred mice. So if you're in the market of needing to feed a lot of snakes, a lot of mice every week or every other week, this is definitely a good option. It's a little bit of an investment. It takes a little bit of a time to get the turnaround, but once everything is going, it's a pretty smooth setup. So hopefully this helps anybody that's looking at getting into some mice and for breeding for their own, I guess, feeding purpose for the reptiles. If you have any questions, drop a comment, shoot me a message. I'd be happy to help. Take it easy.